boys in the booth. Talking all the ball, you know we spitting the truth. Rub and fight hard, showing love for the game. Owls in the sky, play for more than the fame. Play sharp on the field, eager to rise. Leeds chants loud, I see a devoted lives. Barnsley Bridge Warriors stand.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everyone on the panel. Hope everyone's all right. I'll introduce everyone in a second. Evening, everybody watching online. Welcome to KB Terrace Talk Thursday Night Chat. So tonight we've got myself, Phil. I am your host for this evening. We have also got our resident Leeds fan, Hutch. How are we doing, Hutch?
Not bad, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm great, thank you. We've also got our resident Arsenal pundit in the form of Ollie Mers himself. Mersgoth, how are we doing, kid?
I'm doing good. Thank you very much. I hope you're doing well.
Absolutely, absolutely. We also have our good old Spurs fan, Lucio. How are we doing, kid?
I'm doing pretty good, mate. Pretty decent week so far.
Good. Especially after last night's result. But we'll get onto that shortly. And then we've also got our, I would say, wonderful Liverpool pundit, but, you know, it's Liverpool, isn't it? In the form of GH, as we like to call him, Glory Hole. How are we doing?
Yeah, not too bad, yeah.
Good man. Right, so you're probably all wondering where Mr. Bush is. So there's two rumours floating around. The first rumour being that Mr. Bush got extremely upset after last night and he's run away to Mablethorpe and he's hiding on the beach at Mablethorpe somewhere. But I did hear a rumour that a particular football club, one of the football clubs that he supports, not the one that was playing last night, has made contact with him about something important, but who knows what that might be. I'll leave you guys to guess. So tonight we've got lots to talk about, particularly last night's result, as we keep dropping in there, and also a few other bits about Premier League, and then we're going to cover some of our guys' predictions for game week 3. So, as always, anybody that's watching, please leave your comments. Please love and support us. Drop any questions that you've got, and we'll answer your questions where we can during the show. Otherwise, let's crack on. So tonight, guys, I feel like the first thing that we need to have a chat about is the little comment that's going across the bottom of your screens right now. I've basically looked at, I'm sure we all watched the game last night and had a good giggle about it. Grimsby Town. I don't want to, dwell too much on, Brighton smashing Oxford and so on and so forth. But Grimsby Town beating Man United 12-11 on penalties in the second round of the Carabao Cup. Want to know from every single person who they think is to blame for the downfall, what seems to be quite a large downfall of Man United. So, Hutch, as a loving Leeds fan, what do you perceive is going off at the Man United at the minute?
I love to see it, mate. I couldn't think of anything better than watching them go downwards like this. I'm not going to go as deep as what you did with Derby because I don't want to upset too many people. Got better things to do, but no, it's good to see. Especially after all these years where I'm saying that the biggest club in England and biggest club in the world. Obviously, Grimsby are better than them nowadays. But from a football fan's point of view, I've said it plenty of times. I think it's hammering. And the actual foundation of the club itself. Because no matter what manager comes in, they've always pick on a player. And it's that player's fault. Obviously, it started with Ronaldo. Then it were Sancho's fault. And then it's Anthony's fault. They're just finding excuses after excuses. Blaming it on certain players. And I don't know if anyone's watched it, but Ronaldo did an interview about Man United after he left. Saying how much he loves the club, blah, blah, blah. And how bad that club is. And that's coming from a guy who loves the clubs to bits. Do you know what I mean? So if people like that are saying it, and he's left the club that he loved, he wanted to go back there, he chose them over Man City. And if he's making comments like that, it just shows you how much the club is in trouble. I just need someone like a Simeone or someone like that just to come in, knock all these egos out at window, because that's what's causing that club to rot at the minute on the pitch. It's ridiculous. There's just too many egos. And yeah, that manager's not fit enough or qualified enough for that club.
In terms of the egos then, Hodge, obviously we've been hearing about Man United. They've been spending all this money, this transfer window on all these big players. And we've had the conversations with our resident Man United fan, Lee. It's all about egos though, isn't it? I've said to him a few times, I've gone, what would attract someone like Mbeumo or Cunha or even Esco to go to that club? They've got no European football. They're everything's falling apart. There's so much bad rep with the directors, with the stadium, with everything else. They're just living on this dream that Man United are the biggest club in the world and Man United are the best club in the world.
Yeah, that's it.
They were 15 years ago. They're not anymore.
Yeah. I mean, they've not won a league title since Ferguson left. You know what I mean? And I think the thing that's attracting players like the Cunha and the Mbeumo is, as I said, people who've grown up to like watch Man United win it, like the class of '92 and all that. Everyone thinks that Man United is that club, and it's far from it. And I think the likes of Mbeumo, who's come from obviously a lower league team and stuff like that, I think they're going there in hope that they can be one of them players that turn it around. But unfortunately, there's too much dead wood on that pitch and on that bench to even dream of turning that club around anytime soon. I think they just need a massive overhaul, new managers, new players. They just need a total wipeout and start again.
Dave Bez, just going off what you're saying about Ferguson, Dave Bez has put, can you blame Ferguson still? He knew what he was doing when he left over 10 years ago.
I don't know. I mean, that league title that he won, he had the what were the twins called? Who played left back and right back?
Fabio and Raphael.
That's the one.
Raphael.
He had them. He had Anderson. They
Phil
played
Jones.
the league where, Phil Jones.
Johnny
Players that he won that league with. You've got to take.
I was watching an interview with Phil Jones. I think it was yesterday, and he was talking about the Man United squad, and he said exactly what you've just said there. Of they need a big clear out. You need to get rid of all the egos. You just need to annihilate it, and that's coming from him.
Yeah, and even it might be an unpopular opinion with some people, but I think Bruno Fernandes is part of the problem. He's a class player if he stays on his feet and keeps his gob shut, because he spends more time on the floor crying than he does playing football. And you take his penalties away, his record's not that good.
Luke, you look like you wanted to say something there.
The thing with Bruno is, at the moment with Amorim, he's sort of not got a spot. He's trying to play him deeper rather than in his more natural 10. The thing about Bruno that you always see United fans harp on about is, he actually has really good key passing stats and all these stats that he creates the most chances in the league or something close to it. He just has no one to finish it, is what you normally see from the United fans. That's at least what I've seen.
Yeah, but I think the reason he's trying to play Bruno in different positions is he's club captain, and that's the only kind of leader they've got. But he's the wrong kind of leader, because
I think John
on that pitch was going to set an example. And when your captain spends more time on floor than he's probably, do you know what I mean? Than kids spend on floor in Sunday League and stuff like that, he's mental. That's not the kind of leader you need.
No, John Sullivan's put, I agree. A few shows ago, we talked about how Bruno fits that midfield if the Brighton lad joins. Yeah, I remember talking about this. And I think my biggest concern was you brought all these new players in. Where does actually Bruno sit in the squad now? Yes, he's the leader, but he's, like you said, he's the wrong type of leader. He's not the leader to... You've
got people like who's done it week in, week out at Real Madrid for years. And, yeah, fair enough, he probably hasn't got it anymore, but that's the kind of people that you need on that pitch and in that changing room. Ronaldo is that's the kind of player you need, whether he's playing every week or he's sat on bench and plays 10 minutes every week, because Premier League's a different standard. But they're the kind of people that you need in that club that are going to show these kids, this is Man United. This is, no matter what state we're in now, this is Man United. We've got to play for this badge. Get rid of your egos, get rid of your bullshit and all that. You're here to play at the end of the day, and half of them players aren't. They're happy, like Sancho and that. He's happy sitting on bench.
Well, they will be for the price that they're being
exactly.
paid. I think that's a problem. I think their weekly wage, their monthly wage, whatever it might be, is just that high. They just don't care.
No.
Well, yeah, you just got to look at Sancho right now. He's refusing to sign with any other club
because
he knows he can collect a nice, comfy pay packet at Man United.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's mismanagement.
You look at Rashford. You know, nobody wanted to take Rashford because he cost too much money.
Yeah.
It was terrible. Why does he cost so much money? Because he's at Man United, and you know that's this, and that's where the ego thing comes from. It's not actually from anywhere else apart from that name, Man United. We are the best team in the world.
Exactly. I mean, you look at Garnacho. He's come from their academy, hasn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
He's got to the point where, I mean, it got announced about 15 minutes ago. We went live that he's actually got his move to Chelsea because he made a statement of saying, out in open on social media, it's either Chelsea or I sit on bench for 12 months. Like the way he's happy. And when you've got someone coming through your academy who sees what state clubs are in, he wants to leave, then what does that say about rest at club? When your graduates don't even want to be there.
Yeah.
Okay, so in terms of that game last night that they played, I don't know if anybody else watched it. I mean, I watched the second half.
I loved it. I had a bag of popcorn. I loved it.
I didn't see the monstrosity that I'd heard was the first half, but I started on the second half, and to be fair, it wasn't any better. No. I keep going back to it, and I've talked about it in the WhatsApp group like last night and today. Is Man United fans last night were getting really excited when they pulled those 2 goals back. Yeah, Man United are coming back. We're coming back. Should they really be getting that excited about pulling 2 goals back against a team 3 leagues lower than them, where the combined wage bill is 30? I think I've read 31 times less than Wales' wage bill. It does not make sense. Why do they think that drawing 2-2 at full time against a team 3 leagues lower shows this amazing skill that Man United are back on the mend and coming back?
Far from it, mate. They shouldn't even be in a position where they're getting excited they're coming from behind because they never should have been behind. And that Tesco, he's dreadful, him. I can go and get bloke who dishes meat out at Tesco and do a better job.
Yeah, I think
he's not 70 million strike or whatever he paid. I mean,
looking at that field, I think Cunha and Mbeumo, it was just the penalties for them. It was just one of those things, too much pressure, whatever it would have been. Onana the banana, that man's just... I'd be embarrassed to have him as a goalkeeper if he played for Forest. I would be completely embarrassed. And Šeško, you paid all that money for a player, and he's the 10th person to take a penalty.
That's so bad.
Well, last night, it's ridiculous. You were paying that much money for a striker who was apparently proven the next big thing, and he steps up 10th.
Yeah, but he seemed to be happy to step up 10th as well. It didn't seem like, there was any kind of like argument about me stepping up 10th.
Yeah, because he thought we were going to go away and win it, but I think they just underestimated Grimsby Town completely. They just thought it would be a walking park.
Yeah.
Grimsby looked like they wanted it.
Of course they did.
That they were entitled to it.
That first half, Man United looked like a Sunday team.
Not even
Well, it's all Grimsby in that first half. Like when you're looking at stats of the possession, you see it's just showing on the graph like Grimsby pretty much nearly on every segment.
I watched some of them crosses that Grimsby were putting in from the left and the right. Jesus Christ, I've seen worse crosses in the Prem. Some of them were absolutely class. And getting on the end of a striker or an attacking midfielder every single time. So, everyone's going to go on about Man United and how crap they are. You absolutely have to dock your cap for Grimsby Town. What an amazing performance from him.
Yeah, you've got to take your hats off to him.
One thing I would want to say about Amarin, I don't seem to see him that often barking orders from the sidelines either. And like, there was that image yesterday of him with the magnetic board with the tokens and everything like that, and he was trying to figure out what to do in the middle of a game against Grimsby. Like, that on its own is a worrying sign that the manager doesn't know what he's doing, and he's having to get a magnetic board in the middle of a football match.
Yeah, I've seen a few like AI creators.
I've not stopped laughing at them.
One was, I think it was Pokemon cards, which I thought was quite funny. And then obviously John's been on. He's put, I blame the tactics board. It wasn't a board; it was a Barbie catalogue.
I seen one where we're playing Guess Who.
I've seen Operation. I've seen it turned into a set of DJ decks. Like, there's been so many cards.
What does that say for the club when your manager is sat behind all his backroom staff and that in dugout with his head down when he should be confident? It should have been on top of penalties.
He didn't even watch the penalties.
Yes, he don't. It's even corners, like the corners in the Premier League matches. He just doesn't want to watch.
No.
He just wants to look away.
He's not confident in the club. He doesn't believe they'll do anything.
So, as a general consensus, then, guys, are we looking at Amarim on this? Are we looking?
I think it's a mixture of things.
He picked the goalkeeper, and that was the biggest problem. So, if judging by how bad they were last season, surely he'd have known that Onana is just a disaster waiting to happen. So you just don't pick him. Is that not common sense?
Yeah, but I think a lot of teams in that scenario be playing the backup goalkeeper or the second choice goalkeeper.
Would they? But if they,
never get to look in. Tom Heaton's still available, and he's the one that's shown he's not been given a chance to mess up yet. The other two have shown that they're flapping across.
That is a good point.
It can't be any worse, can it?
Can't be any worse. Yeah.
At Burnley, what was he good for? Getting stuck in from set pieces. He was always commanding from crosses. Like, that's the thing that they are absolutely screaming out for. Yep. I'm not exactly a Tom Heaton believer, but you've got to roll the dice on that, surely.
Anything's better than what they're doing at the minute.
If you've not brought in a new keeper yet, then that's at least give him a chance.
This skin.
Even more reason to try him.
I mean, my opinion of it is it lies with the manager. I mean, I said it on prior to game week 1 when we were having the discussion about who's going to be the first manager to lose their job. And I was adamant it's going to be Amarim. The man is, in my eyes, is completely out of his depth. Like we've said, a bunch of egos in there. You need somebody who's strong enough to deal with those egos and actually slap it out of them and say, yes, you might be on £300,000 a week, but I don't care. You're here to play and you're here to win.
You just need someone ruthless. That's what Simeone would be perfect because he takes nothing off no one.
Well, they've had managers like that before, and it showed success. They had Van Gaal commands respect, Mourinho commands respect. Even what's his bloody name? The Leipzig director of football. Who was it? Rangnick.
Ralph Rangnick.
He was someone that was this is open heart surgery. This isn't just this needs open heart surgery. Does Man United like?
Look what Mourinho did for him. He got him second place.
Got him Europa League as well.
Yeah. With a squad that poor, he got him second place.
Mm-hmm. United fans always go on about they're the biggest club. Fergie this, Fergie that, this, that, and the other. Then why haven't you, since Fergie left? Why haven't you not had a manager like him? If he made it so good, why have you got this guy from just completely out of his depth? I think it simply lies with him. There's no other argument behind it. You can blame Onana because he's terrible in goal, but who chooses the team? The first team manager.
Exactly.
You can blame him not playing Šeško a bit more and giving Šeško some time to really, prove himself as a player. Who does that? That's the manager. Every single time it falls back to the manager. And you watch him in his post-match interviews. He's not even got a clue about how to do a proper post-match interview. He's just all over the shop.
It reminds me of the ex-American president because he were absolutely gormless and all. Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Some interviews he were doing. Christ.
That's it. So anybody that's watching that is really good on AI and stuff like that, can you send one of us, show one of us, tag us in on X or something with a Joe Biden, Ruben Amorim mashup? Because that sounds great.
I'd love that.
See that on X within the next 40 minutes. That would be fantastic.
To be fair, Amorim would probably just like hide away and not pay attention, so he'd lose easily.
Thing is, right, my one thing about this is Amorim's system was so specific. Like 3-4-3 is not something that most teams run. It's going to require very specific personnel. Like it was just a fancy pick by the board. They went, look, this guy's doing well in Portugal. We want to sack 10. I'll just bring him in without thinking about anything like that. And it's like, yeah, our players can do that. So it's partially that he's out of his depth, but then who appointed him? It's a bad appointment in that respect of thinking that you can, we can pull that off. We're Man United.
Okay, keep the comments coming in, guys, on the live stream. The more comments you give us, the more we can talk about things, more we can interact with you guys. So I think in general, Man United, yeah, big demise. Something needs to happen with the manager and get themselves a goalkeeper that at least can stop the ball. I'd like to push on a little bit. Obviously, I'm conscious about time. So I'd like to look at the next little topic. And I know we're going to go a little bit everywhere on this one, just based on it being a Premier League team and quite playing some big teams over the next coming weeks. But something that I want to have a quick chat about, and I know Hutch is desperate for me not to mention a certain team in amongst this, but my big question is Leeds United. Are they really that ready for the Premiership? They fantastic opening game against Everton with the nice little win there. They then had a absolutely trouncing by the wonderful Arsenal, and then
no, that's it.
A poor performance, let's call it, in the cup, and got knocked out by a team that's struggling a little bit more than most at the minute. Sheffield Wednesday. What do we all think? Hutch, I'm going to come to you in a minute. I'm not going to come to you straight away. I want to see what the other pundits are thinking in regards to Leeds United at the minute. So let's start with GH. Let's have it from a Liverpool perspective.
Right. I don't think it's actually as bad as a lot of Leeds fans are probably going to make it out as, because let's be real. It's not like Arsenal are going to be an easy team to beat. It's pretty much guaranteed you're going to lose to Arsenal. Everton is a 50-50. It was unlucky. You were unlucky. You were probably the better team in that. Everton were the better team, but it was one of those games that could have been like close. But
sorry,
you watch it.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
Nah, wait.
Let's see what goes.
Oh no, wait. No.
Yeah, no, go on. No, go on, GH. It's fine.
Go on.
No, I'm just saying it's one of those things that you were going to always lose to Arsenal. Everton is one of those games that could have been 50-50, and the cup, well, every lower Prem team loses to someone in the cup at some point. So it's one of those things, That's my logic. Where you could,
Glorio, your logic is simple. You're guaranteed to lose against Arsenal. It's 50-50 against Everton. And because you're a lower league Premier League team, you're bound to lose to somebody.
I mean, let's be real. Every lower league Premier League team has surely lost a cup game to someone like that.
Did you know the result of Everton versus Leeds, GH?
Everton versus Leeds. That was it was 1-0
to
Leeds.
Okay, okay. Wanted to make sure when you were saying it's 50-50 and they were a better team.
No, I meant in general, like before going into the game, it was like a 50-50, like one of those where either team could have.
But you did say in a video, in a TikTok after it, that you said Everton were the better team in that match.
Oh, yeah, I did say that.
That's where Ruben Amorim gets it from.
Hilarious.
When they played Arsenal, and he said. Even though they lost against Arsenal, they were the better team, and anybody could beat Arsenal.
Listen, everyone's if you play Arsenal, you're expected to lose.
Ruben Amorim.
In disguise.
If you can just change GH tomorrow, I can change the narrative for you and the United stuff. You're expected to lose to Arsenal if you're playing Arsenal. Fulham, it's a 50-50. And if you play a lower side, it's a 50-50 as well. But you expect to lose to them sometimes. We've just summed up United as well. Happy days.
Right, I think we need to get another. So I know I'm demanding everybody on X to do all these things. I think we need a petition going out. GH, the next Man United manager. Let's see if he's better than Ruben Amorim.
I thought you were going to put him alongside. I thought you were going to put it alongside Biden and
What a triple mix!
Imagine.
That's a bit mean on Joe Biden, then, isn't it? Okay, so thanks for that wonderful input there, GH. Yeah, great, wonderful. So I'm going to go to somebody that's probably got a bit more of a grasp of it. Luke, can we have something a bit more?
Yeah, so the Everton game, I think Leeds gave a good accounting for themselves. First game back in 2 years. The things to be crucial to Leeds this season is goals. That's whether it's Calvert-Lewin, which I've seen people saying he's the second coming of Bamford, but not in a positive light. But Nemecha, whether they basically it's going to be whether they can sort of grind out results and score some goals in those games against the Evertons, the Fulhams, the Man Uniteds. It's, at least in the Arsenal game, having watched that live with Mers and of Hutch, it got to a certain point where it felt, after 1-0 down, they didn't have any ideas. So I don't know if it's they need to have a backup plan, whether they need to assert themselves more in midfield, whether it's just they got strangled out the game. But they need to bring something more in that aspect.
Okay.
Because if you look at, say, even Sunderland have someone like Granit Xhaka in the midfield. Like, you need someone that's, like, I'm buzzing with Paulinho at Spurs. Someone in the midfield to break up the play, to get stuck in, sort of try and almost force your influence into a game. Same way Calvin Phillips used to, let's say.
So you're feeling as though at the minute Leeds haven't really made the impact on the transfer side of things to be at the level where they should be within the Prem?
Yeah, so it's the need someone in the midfield to sort of help get them on the ball a bit more, be a bit more of a presence. I don't know, because I know Tanaka's obviously one of the centre mids. Well, it's Tanaka at least. But they need someone to sort of be a presence, and we'll see if a Nemecha can produce the goals as the season goes on.
Okay. Do you agree with that, Hutch? I'm going to go straight to Hutch a minute. Do you agree with what Luke said?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I don't know where Glory Orb's getting this Everton a better team. We'll skip that.
I think John's thinking the same. He buys 29p kippers and steals.
We'll just skip that bit and pretend it never said. We'll cut it out. But yeah, regarding the Arsenal game, I watched it with Mers and Luke, and I said it in stream last week. I said, if we're going to get anything, we need to go 1-0 up and sit with a back five and just try and hold on. As soon as Arsenal went 1-0 up, you could tell we had nothing. Going forward, I think we're more of we play one game plan. If that don't work, we haven't got many other ideas because we haven't got that kind of variety of strikers or wingers. Like, all our wingers and strikers play more or less same. Middle of the park, I think what went against us more than anything is the injury to Ampadu, obviously against Everton. The gaps and the space that are not usually there were uncovered, and it showed us how important Ampadu is. And then after the Arsenal match, Tanaka's now injured, so as two main holding midfielders, they're out for weeks. End of September, middle of October, I think. And that's like a crucial point at season where we need to pick 10 points up minimum by end of October to stand any chance whatsoever.
I'm just going to add Carl to this conversation. So Carl's just joined us. How are we doing, Carl?
How you doing, lads? You okay?
All right, pal.
Thanks for dropping in, Carl. Just want your opinion really on Leeds United. We're saying are they ready for the Premier League? You know, they had a good win against Everton, lost really bad against Arsenal, struggled in the cup with Sheffield Wednesday. Luke's made a valid point about the midfield, and maybe they've not quite got it where they need to be in the midfield. Do you think if they don't act quick, do you think that could be a deciding factor, or do you have another opinion on it?
I think Leeds are going to be fine. Leeds' season won't be decided against matches against Arsenal, Liverpool, City, Newcastle. Leeds look good in the first game. They're going to be strong at home. They've got a decent team. And it's really easy to jump on the back of a bad result against Arsenal, but I think they'll be fine. Honestly, be more concerned about United, to be honest.
I don't know
if you've watched any of the first half of the show, Goal. We've all had our fair share of digs at Man United and their performances and where they're going, really.
I'll tell you what I will say. I think at the start of the season where we made our prediction on teams to go down, and we were all pretty much in agreement that we had Burnley bottom, I think there's going to be more teams in and around that relegation zone than we initially thought. So where we all had like the likes of Burnley, Wolves, we thought Brentford, I think there's going to be 5, 6, maybe 7 teams that possibly could go down. I thought it was going to be a lot easier to see the teams that would struggle, and I think the league is going to be a lot more competitive at the top and at the bottom and in the middle places. I think there's going to be a competitiveness up and down the table.
It's going to be a lot closer, like you say, at the bottom this season. Just looking at the players and the teams and that. Like, Sunderland bought well. Burnley's shown that they can grind results out. But yeah, I think Wolves are definitely in that. Brentford are probably going to be in that. And I still
think Leeds are going to be amongst that as well, Hutch.
Yeah, of course we are. Like I agree with Carl. I think we're going to be fine, but these 2 injuries early doors aren't helping.
We've just got a little bit of feedback coming through. I don't know if anybody else can hear that. Can we just be conscious that when somebody else is talking, just to drop our mics if we can, thanks.
Yeah.
Ollie, not really had an input about the Leeds points with you. Do you agree with what's been said? Have you got your own kind of little opinion on it?
Yeah, I agree with everybody except for obviously GH, because he's absolutely deluded with some of his thoughts tonight. Yeah, I think realistically, it all depends on how they get on against each other. So, like, obviously, when it's the 6-pointer games, how is Leeds going to do against the likes of Sunderland? Because realistically, it is going to be a tight battle at that bottom part of the table. With I think it's realistically 5 teams. I know Brentford was said, but I think Brentford will probably have enough to reach that threshold of about 39, 38 points that is normally needed to stay in the Premier League. Obviously, Sunderland had a very good window, so it's interesting to see how they get on with more results. So I think on the weekend, when it's the Leeds-Newcastle game, how they perform against the Newcastle might be a telltale sign, because if you drop some points against your relegation candidates, you're going to need to pick up points elsewhere. You need to put up a good fight against some of these European candidates and stuff. And if they do terrible against Newcastle as well, then you're going to be really looking at potential relegation for next season or this season.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sure a majority of people do. I think I want to give the kind of the final word to Hutch really in regards to Leeds. The one question that we've skirted around a bit is the Sheffield Wednesday. What actually happened there, Hutch?
Shit.
One word. 4 letters.
Basically, yeah, we made a full change of 11. That shouldn't be an excuse against the under 20s or under 18s, whatever it is. But to be fair, mate, you can't take anything away from that. What that Wednesday players did. Every single player on that team, that goalkeeper especially. I mean, Calvert-Lewin had three clear-cut chances, let's say, in the last 10 minutes. Don't get me wrong, probably not going to finish them, not match fit, not sharp. But, yeah, it's one of them things where you're going to get turned over, there's going to be upsets, and you can't really take it away from them. They deserved it. A couple of my mates there, Wednesday fans, and I was speaking to them throughout game, and they deserved to win it, even before penalties, I think. It wasn't until that last 15 minutes where we shit ourselves and thought we're in trouble here that we even attempted to score, in my opinion.
So it was just a little glitch in the armour.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're not bothered about cup.
So moving on with Leeds then. They've got Newcastle at the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on that match? Where do you see that match going based on the performance so far and the comments that have been made tonight?
Well, I've got Leeds to win on my predictions, stupidly. I think we're lucky if we win. Like I said, we are at home. Crowd will get behind them. Players have probably had a bollocking after that dire straits that we watched the other night. So if we have a good start, maybe put Newcastle on back foot like we did Everton, apart from one opinion, I think we'll do well, especially at home crowd. I don't see a loss, but it could be a draw.
Just having a quick squint at the predictions, I think there's only a couple that are actually in favour of Leeds winning. There's quite a lot of draws going off in there.
Yeah.
Considering his comments earlier on, I mean, Glory Hole's gone for a Leeds win. He's one of them, along with yourself, Hutch.
Newcastle is a better team.
I've gone with the Leeds win as well in the prediction.
Oh, sorry, Mers, I didn't get across to yours. There's that many predictions. I think
I've put a 1-0 win for Leeds. I think when I'm doing my predictions, I want to put in at least an upset, and I think if there's going to be an upset, it's probably going to be the Leeds.
Yeah, but it's like Carl said, our league's not based on top 6, top 8. Our league's based on beating them winning them 6-pointer games, and beating that top half at bottom half as such. Trying to pick a few points up here and there against like your Crystal Palaces and your teams like that. That's where his league's going to be. That's where our fate's going to be sealed.
Trying to push for that Brentford kind of number that Ollie was talking about. Then is that?
Yeah, that's it. But you've got to do most of it early because you know how busy period is around Christmas and that. Leeds are known for like dropping off back end of the season. You don't know what injury is going to hit you, so you need to get some points on board early. So it don't bite you in half come end of the season when people who are scrambling manage to pick points up. That's when it gets tight, and we haven't got that capability of getting points when we desperately need them.
Yeah,
like what Sunderland will. Sunderland will grind results out. And look at Everton; they've managed to do it at back end of every season for the last 3 or 4 years.
Don't forget though, Sunderland are losing a lot of players in AFCON, so you've got to remember that might come in your favour.
Yeah, but that's not. What is it? A month? It's not season defining.
I suppose.
It's year.
What are you going to do when Mo Salah goes the AFCON?
Yeah, struggle. Now we'll do just fine without him. I'm sure we will.
Yeah, we're fine. We just need to pick his battle. Basically, we don't need to go for it and risk injuries against your bigger teams. Like last weekend proved it. Just if you're going to get beat, you're going to get beat. Just don't embarrass your sins. You move on.
Yeah. No, I agree, mate. I agree. I've said from the start of the season I'm very pro Leeds. To be fair, I think they're deserve a team to come up. I think they'll be safe. I think they'll do all right. They've just got to do. They don't want to let too many games like the Wednesday game and the Arsenal game kind of like bother them. They need to keep that consistent. And they need to keep that thought process going, even if it's picking up a point against some of the slightly better teams and mid-table teams. Trying.
Yeah, drawing against your likes of Fulham and that. They're points that matter at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Not getting beat 5-0 by Newcastle or Arsenal or City, for example.
Is that a prediction? Newcastle beating you 5-0?
No. That's in below me. I'll put it that.
To be fair, bad news. I checked. You've got United. You haven't got United till the new year. Sorry, those 3 points aren't coming your way probably by the time Amarin's still.
We know we've got 6 points after January, don't we? So
Amarin will be well gone by then anyway. With any luck. Okay, so we've had a bit of a chat about United. We've had a bit of a chat now about Leeds. I kind of now want to move on just a little bit to the predictions. We're not going to go predictions team after team after team and player after player after player and so on and so forth. We're going to outline a few, particularly of the bigger games, and we're going to obviously look at predictions of the 6 teams that are being looked at today, being Forest, Leeds, Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool and Spurs. So some big games this weekend. It's game week 3. Will Burnley beat United? Big games like Brighton and City. Again, is Brighton City's bogey team? I know, Luke, you were saying earlier we've claimed the bogey team there on that one. Liverpool and Arsenal, massive game there. That should be very interesting. And I've also put Villa and Palace amongst that lot as well. I think that's going to be an interesting game, as well as the Leeds United game. So I'm gonna start with you, Carl. City Brighton game. Let's start with that one. What's your prediction on it, and how do you think it's going to unfold that game?
So, I mean, we didn't play particularly well against Spurs, and Spurs punished us with some bad mistakes. Up until their goal, we were on top and we had chances. And in typical City fashion, we seemed to give Spurs a win. Brighton are a good team for us to play because they play like a passing, expansive game, and they'll get punished against City. I think we will bounce back. Pep will get the team up for it. I think we probably, rather in the Spurs game, I think we played a few new players, and probably it wasn't a lot of players that have played together a lot, and that probably didn't help. I think he'll revert back to type. We'll have the likes of Bernardo in there rather than putting all the new starters in. We'll have a much more settled 11. I'm expecting a bounce back, and I think we'll beat Brighton heavily. I expect Haaland to at least bag a couple. 4-1 win for Brighton and for City against Brighton, I'm predicting.
4-1. Okay. Big bounce back, big comeback. Show the rest of the league that City mean business, sounds like.
Yep, indeed.
And a good team to do it against? Strong team to do it against?
Yeah, I mean, they play a similar way to Bournemouth. And Bournemouth have been a good team for City to play over the season. So I'm quite happy with that fixture. And then we've got a dead easy one the week after.
And who's your dead easy one the week after then, Carl?
We play United in game week 4.
Well, the way it's going, I don't think they'll have a manager by game week 4. In my
well, let's hope he's still there.
So, does everybody agree with Carl? We're just gonna briefly go over other people's predictions for that City Brighton City match, should I say? Does everyone agree? Is it going to be a whitewash City? Really? Is it where we're at? Hutch, what's your prediction?
I've got 3-1 City.
3-1 City.
Yeah, I think what Carl said. I think they're going to bounce back from Spurs' loss, and Pep's known for smashing his players to bits after a defeat like that. So,
Fab. Ollie, what do you reckon?
3-1 City.
Another 3-1 City. Okay, fabulous. Glory hole.
Guess what? 3-1 City.
Another 3-1 City. And what about yourself, Lukey?
I've got 3-0 City.
3-0 City. Well,
we mustn't forget Rodri's back as well. Like, he came on for the last few minutes against Spurs. Like, when the City lose with Rodri, very rarely.
Rodri won't start next week though.
No.
He won't start next week.
They're wrapping him in cotton wool.
They're still doing a lot of tactical with him, aren't they, and stuff like that.
Okay.
Probably going to start him. I've gone the complete opposite way, which is quite rare for me. I normally back City. I just feel as though it might be one of those where City are going to go in thinking that it's going to be a bit of a whitewash, and the fans thinking it's going to be a bit of a whitewash. I've actually said that Brighton are going to pip them at a 1-0 win. Gone completely off course. I wouldn't normally do that. I normally back Carl with what Carl's saying, but I'm going to go against you this week, mate. I'm going for a Brighton 1-0 win over City.
Oh,
Predicting City back-to-back goalless games is bold.
And Phil, don't like to harp on, but like I am leading the predictions, so I'm normally spot on with what I.
Absolutely, mate.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm just being the yin to your yang, mate, or the other way around, whichever way it goes. I think a bit of competition it can't go amiss, can it? I don't think I'm too far behind. I think I'm chomping it at 8 feet a little bit.
You are, but there's no prizes for second place, Phil.
No, there isn't. No. Although there is a prize for finishing 17th.
Mind you, the Liverpool fan didn't they ask for a trophy for finishing second a few years ago?
I think so.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, the next one I'm going to quickly look at is two of our pundits are in today, so let's let this battle commence between Liverpool and Arsenal. So Glory Hole and Ollie, how do we feel as though this game is going to go between you two? Let's start with Ollie.
Okay, yeah, because you want to hear the more sensible.
That's exactly.
Oi.
I want all the people watching to have a good old laugh
right. So, look into like last season. So both of the Arsenal-Liverpool games finished 2-2, and I generally think it's probably going to be somewhere along those lines, like in terms of scoreline or the amount of goals that are scored. In terms of my prediction, I've gone with an Arsenal win 2-1 because right now they've got no Frimpong. Konate looks all over the place, so there's room to try and exploit that attack. We don't obviously have Saka go off and Ødegaard in the last game, but I think with the new signings we've got squad depth now to try and have good replacements for those sort of players. So I'm expecting obviously Eze to probably play on that. I reckon he's actually going to play where Ødegaard is meant to be, unless Ødegaard plays that game, because there's rumors that he's not too bad and he might be able to play. Then Madueke on the left, and then probably Martinelli or something on the left-hand side. But I think we'll try and exploit that as best as we can, but then we'll probably get a counter-attack goal that Liverpool get, and it'll probably come from like Ekitike, I reckon, because he's just that surprise package. Don't quite know what to probably get with him at the moment. He's doing quite well for them. So I think it's going to be a very close game overall.
Okay, thanks for that, Ollie. Glorio, let's have you come back. It's got to be better.
So I've said 2-1 Liverpool only because I think Ekitike is just going to be too dangerous. Like you said, he's unpredictable. You don't really know what he's going to do because he's new to the league, and all that sort of stuff. And I just think he's got too much to stop you. Obviously, I do understand our defense is shaky and we haven't got Frimpong. Konate has looked terrible this season. I do admit that. So that's why we will concede a goal, and it'll be interesting to see how Eze gets on. I hope he does well, but honestly, it's his first game for the club, so I hope he does well in general for Arsenal. I just I like him as a player in general, and I think he's a good signing for you. So I think he'll have a good season, but I think it might take him a bit of time to settle in and get used to the team. And maybe putting him into the team straight away might be a bit. Obviously, I know you need to because you haven't got Ødegaard, but I think it might be a bit too soon. So maybe I'm just predicting he might struggle a bit. And Martinelli is always hit and miss these days. So yeah, I think we'll just nick it. But like you said, Mers, I think it'll be a very close game. It normally is. So yeah.
Okay, what about everybody else then? What's everyone else's thoughts on that? Hutch, what's your thoughts? Which way do you think it's going? Is it going to be a draw? Is it going to be clean cut?
Yeah, I've got 2-2.
You've got 2-2.
Yeah, I've got 2-2. I don't think Eze will start. I think they will bring him on though. He'll definitely play a part. I just think it's too soon for him to come into that, especially in a game with that stature. It's not a game where you want to start a new player, no matter how good Eze is. But I think he will come on, and he will make an impact.
No, I agree. I think it is a class signing. Don't think he should be starting. It's too early. It's too soon. That should I say? But definitely bring him on second half. Give him a good 20 minutes, half an hour run around. I think he's going to cause quite a few problems. Myself, I've gone for an Arsenal win. I think Arsenal are going to win it 2-1 as well. So I'm sticking with what Mers has predicted. What about yourself, Luke? Where do you think?
I've gone for a 1-1 draw personally. Like, I would have been leaning Arsenal if we're talking full strength 11s here. As much as
I'm not the Spurs fan, leaning Arsenal.
I like to describe myself as unbiased a lot of the time. But so the thing is, if they had Saka going up against Kirkes, then I'd be going, with how Kirkes has been so far this season, that's Arsenal. But the fact it'll be Madueke, the fact we're not sure if Eze is going to start, and Erdegaard with his shoulder, whether he'll start, like, you're sort of questioning where's the creativity from Arsenal. If you've not got Eze potentially starting, if you've not got Erdegaard, period, if you've not got Saka, the creativity is dwelling a little bit there. And at the same time, they have a very good defence to Arsenal, so you don't see Liverpool running wild. Like, Salah's not been particularly good so far this season. It's been Ekatike that's got a goal in each of his games, including Community Shield. So I'm going for a 1-1, slightly downgrading on the 2-2s. Still think it's a draw, but yeah, I'm going to.
I think that could be Liverpool's player of the season so far.
Yeah,
What about yourself, Carl? What's your thoughts, mate?
So I've been thinking about this match quite a lot. It's obviously the standout tie of the weekend. What's interesting is both teams have got key players missing, and I've been playing out scenarios in my head. And for me, it's going to come down to the first goal. If Liverpool score first, I can honestly see like a bit of a rout. But if Arsenal score first, they've got a better defence, and they might grind out a win. I just couldn't split the two. I couldn't pick who I thought was going to win. So I've gone for a draw because I literally couldn't split them. I think whoever scores first probably could go on to win it. He's going to have the upper hand. If Arsenal score first, I think it's difficult for Liverpool to win the game because of how bad the defence is. If they chase the goal, they're going to be so open at the back, and Arsenal could counter them, get 2 and 3 goals. I think if Arsenal score first, they win the game. If Liverpool score first, I still think Arsenal could get something from the game. I've gone 2-2 because I've sat on the fence. I've got splinters.
I think most people have, apart from John Sullivan. John Sullivan's put Liverpool are ratty rats. Hope Arsenal win 6.
Of course.
That would be very interesting if it's an absolute whitewash for Arsenal. It would be an interesting. I think there'll be a few people's opinions of Liverpool winning, I suppose, the season if it's a bit of a whitewash from Arsenal's side. I kind of agree with everybody. I've gone for the Arsenal to nip it forward, but I kind of agree with everybody. Really, it's going to be a very interesting game to watch, especially with some of them key players missing, like you were saying, Carl. I think it's going to be very, very, very interesting and entertaining at the same time. Maybe some sparks of genius from the odd player that might clinch it in the end. As we've got a Spurs fan in, let's quickly mention the Spurs Bournemouth game while we're on it, and then we'll move on to Forest. So Tottenham Bournemouth, what we thinking, Luke?
So I know Bournemouth can be a difficult team. But I'm going to lean 2-0 Tottenham. We've seemed sound defensively. If we're keeping a clean sheet against City, I know we rode our luck in that game with the ball going directly across the face of goal, headers being missed, etc. But we've been sound all season so far, including the Super Cup. I think we'll edge it. Like I'm leaning 2-0.
Okay. Well, what's everybody else's thoughts then? Are we going with that? Glory Hole, what do you think?
I think it will. Yeah, it will be a close game. What did I say? I think it will be. Yeah, I think 2-0, 2-0 Tottenham. I think, like, based on, like Luke said, based on the last few games, they've been very solid in defence, and I just don't see where Bournemouth break their defence down. Although Semenyo's good, is he good enough to break down their defence? I'm not too sure. If they do score, it'll be only one, and I still think they'll win. But I think it'll be 2-0.
Ollie?
I'm going with a 2-0 win for Spurs. I think they're probably one of the best looking teams in the league at the moment. Frank's very aggressive approach when it comes to playing on the front foot in terms of the press and everything like that. I think they will just comfortably see a win over Bournemouth.
Yeah, I think Dave Bez agrees with you on that one. Thomas Franks had a good start to the season, to be fair to him. I wasn't expecting that. I don't think. I think probably maybe some of the Spurs fans wasn't expecting it really as well. What's your thoughts, Hutch? Do you agree with everything so far?
Yeah, see, I've got this as my highest scoring game at weekend. I've got a 3-2 Tottenham win. Both teams look really good going forward, but they also have shown a few glimpses. Bournemouth more so than Tottenham. Like Tottenham do look fairly strong, but a bit rocky, but Bournemouth are quite direct and pretty fast with their attacks, especially counters. Obviously, you look at the Liverpool match at the start of the season. Semenyo, said it last week, I think he'll get a decent transfer if he carries his form. I think we can see him moving up Premier League a bit, but yeah, I've got it as my highest scoring game at weekend, 3-2 Tottenham.
Wow, okay. Myself, I've gone with just a 1-0 win to Tottenham, to be fair. I think Tottenham are the better side of the two. Yes, Bournemouth haven't shied away or anything. I think Spurs naturally will dominate that game. To be perfectly honest. What about yourself, Carl?
Well, I've gone for a Spurs win, but I don't think this will be close at all. I think Bournemouth play the perfect style for Spurs. I think this is the easiest game to predict of the weekend. I think Spurs will be 2-3-0 up at half time, and then they'll see it out 3 or 4 easy.
Wow. Okay.
I sure hope you're right. I'd love that.
And John's also posted, and he thinks it's going to be 3-1 to Spurs as well. Okay, so big games covered. I think in general, I know we in the post there I've also put Villa Palace. Getting conscious about time though, and I'd like to talk, if I've got a chance, a little bit about what's happening at Forest at the minute. Obviously, Forest have got game at the weekend. They've got West Ham. I'm going to keep my process exactly like I've kept so far every game, whether I've got that score or not. I've kept so far and said the first 3 games were always going to be 3-0, and I've kept that. I think Forest are going to win 3-0 against West Ham. I think Potter's in a bad situation at the minute. His name's being floated around as one of the first managers to go of the season, and I just don't think West Ham have got it. Coming to the City Ground, it's anybody that's played at the City Ground, anybody that's watched a match at the City Ground, it is one of those places that can be quite daunting, especially for the away fans, if they're only bringing between 3,000 and 6,000 fans with them. It's quite a daunting place, and again, it's a daunting place for a team, let alone a team that's really, really struggling. Not sure what everybody else thinks. Do we kind of agree with the whole scores? What's our thoughts on the scores this weekend for Forest? Hutch, what's your thoughts, mate?
I've got a 3-0 Forest win. I love watching Forest. I think play really good football, and also I said weeks ago, for me, Potter's first manager to go. Yeah. Definitely is running out of ideas already, and yeah, they're not going to do much.
No, it's a shame because I used to rate Potter as a manager, but I just don't think he doesn't fit in at West Ham, right? Does he?
No, he hasn't got the players to play the type of football that he used to do at like Brighton and stuff like that. So
yeah. What about yourself, Ollie?
Yeah, I'm gone with a 3-0 win as well. Like, they've conceded 8 goals in 2 games, so can't see it being a low-scoring game.
No, fabulous. Luke?
I've gone one step further. I've gone 4-0.
That'd be nice. I'd like to see that, especially with what's Forest is going through and the pressures Forest going through at the minute. I'd love to see a 4-0 win at home. Fantastic that would be. Glory hole?
3-0 Forest. I just think Potter's clueless at the minute. He's run out of ideas, so they'll get smashed.
And what about yourself, Cole?
Yeah, I've got Forest win 3-1. What I will say, though, is West Ham are one of those teams where they play absolute pony for weeks and weeks and then do throw up a shock result. So although like 99% certain Forest win by 3 goals, it wouldn't surprise me if West Ham throw a shock result this game week or the game week after, just a shock win somewhere in there.
Right. Okay. The general consensus, I think, across all predictions, Dave Bez has put no one in the prediction league has any faith for West Ham. Why is that? Potter has been successful at a lot of his previous clubs. I think really what Hutch said has hit the nail on the head. He's not got the right squad. He's not got the right players. Probably not really the right backing that he needs for that particular club. Does anybody else want to put an input on West Ham? And
Well, I did say a little bit positive to say they can throw up the shot result and throw a good one in there every now and then. But, I mean, the results speak for themselves and the performances speak for themselves, and they've not been very encouraging, have they?
Yeah. I agree. So even though the stuff that's going off at Forest at the minute, I've mentioned it at the back end of this little segment about the whole Nuno, Edu, Marinakis, that kind of thing going off. It didn't seem to affect us last week that much. Yes, it was a draw. It was a deserved draw with Palace, I think, with everything that's been going off with the whole Palace side and the Europa League and so on and so forth. And then obviously the strains of what's happening with Nuno and Marinakis and all that malarkey going off. To get a draw, I think it was a deserved draw, to be fair, last week. My opinions on this whole Nuno thing, if you actually listen properly to the commentary that the Nuno was talking about to the actual media, he was simply stating the fact that last season when he took over, which like most managers do, the directors or the chairpersons, they're always there. They're always there to help and support because they've made that decision to bring you on board. They're always there. They've always put their arm around you. They're always, encouraging you, particularly in those early weeks, early months that you're playing with a squad. I feel as though maybe Marinakis has taken a step back a little bit from that and not going to see Nuno all the time. Yes, there was the squabble towards the back end of last season about bringing a 1 year on and the miscommunication with the medical team, and then Marinakis doing what crazy Marinakis does and comes on, and it looks like he's having a go at Nuno for it. And actually, they both agreed on that particular argument. I feel as though the media have blown the whole thing out of proportion a little bit. I think Nuno's probably feeling a little bit neglected. But in one of the comments that he did make, and I did notice, and I think you'll all hopefully agree on this, is he said, I am here and my job role, should I say, is to be the manager of this club, put the best team out and perform as we should, which as a manager I am doing. So with all the hurtful comments that people love to throw Forest's way, do I think this is like Nuno and the slow leaving of Nuno from Forest? No, I don't. Not in the slightest. I think a lot of it has been bought up and thrown in the face by the media. They love to do. I think, yes, there may be a bit of breakdown in communication with Marinakis. Maybe, they don't agree on certain things. And Marinakis, being the way he is, the powerful, strong man that he is, wants to push his nose in maybe onto Nuno's job and what Nuno's there to do, and it's maybe put Nuno's nose out of joint a little bit. But I don't think it's enough to, in my opinion, I don't think it's enough to worry about Nuno being the next manager to leave. There's more important managers to leave clubs before that even happens. And personally, I think Nuno will be there for the rest of the season.
Yeah, 100%.
So is that the consensus? Does anybody have their own opinions on it?
No, what I want to say is, I agree with you totally. Do I think Nuno's going to leave that club? No. But one thing that I noticed and that I loved after that match, Palace won it.
Yes, it was Palace.
Yeah. You know full well that them players are playing for that manager because of what they did at full time. If the players don't want to be part of manager for whatever reason, like if there's been a row, and obviously that can cause them to lose faith in manager if there's arguing in backroom staff and stuff like that, and with obviously chairman. But every single player wants to play for Nuno. And it just shows you straight after that match, they were all clapping fans. They were all pointing to Nuno as if to say, like, it's him that's got us that result. This is our man sort of thing. And whatever's going off in background, it'll probably get sorted out. Bit of miscommunication, like you said. Media do what media do best. They blow it out of proportion. But I don't see that. I don't see Nuno leaving. He'll probably be there next year as well. Unless something was drastically wrong, which I don't see. But he'll not leave that club anytime soon.
Fab. That's what I'm hoping for as well, Hutch. And I think watching other yes, I do watch other podcasts as well. But watching other podcasts, listening to what people listen, not just Forest fans, but even Palace fans and stuff like that, what they're saying. I think it's a general consensus. I think they can see straight through what's actually happening. There might be a bit of the old banter with, Forest are going to lose Nuno and this, that, and the other. But I think in general, I think everybody agrees that Forest are actually all right and pretty safe where they are. And I'm seeing lots of nodding, so I like that.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Fabulous. Has anybody in the chat got anything they want to ask? We've got a few minutes left. If anybody in the chat has got any questions that they want to ask and throw at our pundits, please feel free to do so. Anybody on screen at the minute got anything that they want to just chirp in about a squad, about a team, about their own team, any transfer news they may have? Obviously, the transfer window's coming to an end soon. I was reading somewhere that, Man United might be looking for even more players.
A new keeper is needed, if anything.
Absolutely. I've heard poor Dot, the tea lady, is going to lose her job next. Just to say a few more pounds. Carl, I know you have your opinions on Man United. Let's hear the closing words of any transfer news from you, mate.
Well, I heard a rumour today that Cucurella's to United. Is that true?
Not a clue.
That'd be
I
silly.
have heard a rumour about City putting a bid in for Gay at Crystal Palace, swap deal with a Kanji.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mind that. And it looks like Donnarumma is going to be a done deal, and James Trafford may go out on loan again.
Wow.
What, instead of leaving?
Not necessarily. I don't know whether they'd want to let him go. Surely not.
No. So what I've heard is City want Donnarumma, and Galatasaray or Besiktas won't pay for Ederson, but City have offered Besiktas James Trafford on loan for the season.
Interesting.
Okay. Interesting.
So City would keep Donnarumma, have Donnarumma and Ederson as backup for a year, and then the following year Trafford comes back.
I obviously there was a big thing last week about the whole Ederson, Donnarumma, Trafford. Where does everybody sit? They've just brought Trafford in. Is he going to be wanted to be a bench keeper? How soon is it likely that Ederson's going to leave? So on and so forth. I mean, I like your concept there, Carl. I think it's probably the most sensible of all options for them to take. What's everyone else's thoughts?
The only thing with that is Donnarumma, nothing away from him as a keeper, as a general keeper. but is he a Pep style keeper? Because Pep,
No.
like the thing that I hear from all the PSG, anytime you hear about PSG, is that he's not particularly good with his feet. So it would just be a significantly upgraded Claudio Bravo. Well, the opposite of Claudio Bravo.
But what did they win last season?
Bravo could pass, but he couldn't save. This is going to be elite keeper, but is he going to be what Pep wants with his feet?
As well, Luke. I thought that as well, but I started watching a few previous games on YouTube. He can play with his feet. Listen, he's never going to be the keeper at Edison. There's no keeper in the world that can play a ball like Edison. But one thing Donnarumma trumps near enough every keeper on is shot stopping. I think it's fair to say, like, he's not single-handedly, but there was games there where Donnarumma has won them the game with the saves he's made. And he's only 26. So I thought James Trafford would be the long-term solution for City. But if City can get Donnarumma on the cheap, it's a no-brainer. And football's a cutthroat sport. The City hierarchy are not going to let a keeper slip through the fingers like Donnarumma if they can get him.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the goal, you look at the second goal, and it literally, like, at that point, you go, Trafford's not been particularly good with his feet there. Why would you simply not just upgrade it? Like, if you're going to be similar situation, at least get the best in the position for shots.
Yeah, I mean, there's no denying that's a James Trafford mistake. When you're
100%.
playing a ball like that to a midfielder, a holding midfielder coming on, it has to be 2 feet at pace. He's played it a yard wide and he's allowed the Spurs on. I mean, Richarlison did his best to fuck it up, didn't he?
Did.
Let's be honest.
He really did.
But
bless him. The old Richarlison came out of it.
James Trafford's never been under that amount of pressure before. He's been in a team where they were trying to avoid relegation. He's playing in a team that are going for titles and trophies. So, do you believe it or not, he'll learn a lot from that. It's a mistake that you don't want it to happen, but he will learn from that. He is a very, very good keeper. I'm sure he's going to be hugely successful, whether that's at City, whether that's at Besiktas, whether it's at any club, he will be successful. But City's hierarchy, Pep, they want achievements now, and they can get that with Donnarumma. So that's why I see that one going through.
Okay, well, we've got one final comment in. Just a quick open one to everybody. With obviously the transfer window coming to a close very soon, just a general comment really. Which team will make the biggest transfer in terms of a fee on deadline day?
What, in the whole world, or?
Well, I'm convinced. Man City will bid for Rodrigo on deadline day.
Or maybe Isaac to Liverpool, because that one's taking its time. So,
yeah, but I feel like they're not going to agree to it. There's something in the back of my head that says they're going to agree to it.
Yeah, I agree with Ollie. I don't think it's going to happen.
Nor do I really, but if it does, it will be one of those things that happens last minute, right at the end of the window, I think.
I think it's going to be Man United.
It's just something who's in a position to spend? Chelsea aren't going to be able to spend a huge amount. It's why the one I hate looking at transfers at the moment because of obvious reasons of being just people coming in last minute. It's why I'm trying not to look at the
you're not getting
the
transfers, Liz. Is that what you're actually?
Yeah, exactly. So
them all going to Arsenal instead,
or just staying at Forest.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like this Javi Simons situation, I'm trying not to pay too much attention to. But when you look at the clubs that are set to potentially make a big move on deadline day, we've only spent, I'm saying this a couple of years ago, saying only spent 50 odd million is ridiculous. But we would be in the position to be one of the teams that would splash big. Newcastle have gone before deadline day with the striker who I'm not going to pretend to have heard of from Stuttgart. City potentially on Rodrigo's mentioned by Carl, but Arsenal have already spent big. Liverpool, the Isaac deal, like of the teams that would have the money to splash, really, it's only us or United have already splashed big as well. So I have a feeling Spurs are going to panic on someone
just to get them in.
Yeah, we're going to splash on a left winger of some kind. I think.
Luke, if we go for Rodrigo, that opens the door for Savinho for you.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely true. I mean, it's been the deal that Frank's wanted the whole time. But as I say, it could. I know we're looking at Lookman at the moment as well as an alternative if you're not going for Rodrigo, going in for 2-time Premier League flop Ademola Lookman, which that's always good.
I mean,
Can't be much worse.
Savino's the talent. He'd be a brilliant signing for Spurs.
100%. And the thing is, we need depth at winger because AFCON got mentioned earlier. We could use when Kudus and Sar's going as well, but Kudus has been a revelation. Basuma's potentially out the door already. He's rumored to be leaving, but Kudus going for Ghana. We then need someone on the right. We've got Brennan Johnson, we've got Ardaberry's on the left, but Savino can play either side. I think plays mostly on the left, if I'm not mistaken, Carl. Is that right?
Well, he likes the left wing, but he's played right wing for Brazil. He can play both wings. He can play all along the forward line.
So then that would be great for depth, but that's out of Spurs' hands currently because it's fully dependent on if City make that move, as we've been told. But I can see us splashing for someone in a panic, probably Lookman.
Fabulous. Anybody else? Anybody else got anything to add to that?
I think Liverpool are going to push this Isak deal through.
You think it's going to go ahead?
I think it'll go through. That's just something. I don't know.
Isak really wants it, doesn't he? It's him. He's going to push it probably more than anyone.
It doesn't matter if Isak wants it.
Yeah, I know. There's something. I don't know. There's something just sticking on me that says that they're just going to keep going until last minute.
I hope he rots in the reserves, me.
To be fair, I agree with you, Carl. I think his behaviour, whether again that's media or what it is, I think his behaviour in general,
it is pathetic.
I think it's pathetic, and the fact that Liverpool are still even considering him based on his behaviour says actually more about Liverpool than it does about Newcastle. To be fair. I'd let him rot in the reserves. I'm with you, Carl, all day long, mate.
I think Ekatike could turn out to be one of the signings of the season. And what message does it send to him if you Liverpool are still going for Isak?
We don't want you playing, we want him instead, and that's not good, is it?
Because here's the thing I've said. They were going in for Ekatike as well with Newcastle. They weren't planning on selling Isak. They were trying to play him as a front two. They were trying to play him as a front two. So Newcastle signing this guy for pretty much the value of what they were going to spend on Ekatike. They're under no pressure to sell. They were planning on spending this money anyway.
Fabulous. So we reckon, in general, could be Spurs with a last-minute deal. It could be the Isak thing. We remains to see. But thanks for the question, Dave Bez. Thanks for all the questions tonight. We're coming to the end of the show. I'd like to thank everybody that's sent messages in tonight. Sorry we couldn't get through everybody. Obviously, we're on a tight deadline. Thank you to all the pundits tonight from Leeds, Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, Spurs, and obviously myself from Forest. If you are mad about your fantasy league, tomorrow night we've got our short show on the fantasy league. And please join our fantasy league. I know you might be joining late, so if you're not on it already, if you follow us on X, you'll be able to find the link to get through to our fantasy league. We also have a show on Monday night, which is Monday Night Millers, talking about everything that's going off over at Rotherham. I mentioned at the start of the show for the people that have come in late, there is, I can't say too much. I've been given a bit of information. I can't say too much. But the reason why I'm hosting tonight and it's not the King Bush himself, I have heard that Mr. Bush has gone for a little conversation with the chairpersons at a particular club. And it's not anything to do with Man United. So on that note, we're going to say night from everybody. Guys, I just want you to stop on after the show. Just want to have a quick chat about Fantasy League for tomorrow night. And going off that, thank you very much, everybody, for watching. And we will see you next Thursday.